like to order whatever average breakfast is for all four of us here.
Bread, eggs, and warm milk.
Bread, eggs, and warm milk it is.
Very well.
Uh,
That'll
I'll
be
have a
4
bunch of
silver.
eggs.
4 silver.
All I have is gold. How much change would one piece of gold give for silver?
6 silver back.
All right. I'll take 4 of it.
All right. Did you hear about the jellies and the ooze?
You mean from yesterday?
Aye, late night. After the crystals disappeared.
No, I don't. I don't think I did. What are you talking about?
They call them gelatinous cubes and oozes. They were attacking folk in the town. They say it came from the crystals.
I don't think I did. I'm gonna lean a bit close to Quinn. I suppose I haven't left yet.
Mhm.
There were some bloodstains, crossbow bolts outside the Leprous Tavern alleyway. Any chance I could learn anything about that from you?
There's always ne'er-do-wells in some parts of the city. I don't have any information about that, unfortunately.
Well, nonetheless, thank you for the food.
Enjoy. And watch out for those
Yep.
oozes. There may still be some around. The guards made quick work of them.
I will be sure. Thank you for the warning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna eat my food, drink my milk.
I'm gonna eat with my hands, like not like messily, but like I'm picking everything up with my hands, like even like the eggs, just like
Like one little egg at a time.
not like little bits, but like I'm very cleanly eating, but with my hands.
Alright, so you see Kurdu Steelback getting restless. You see him looking at the angle of the sun in the window, and he says, "We must get to the docks if we are to get a decent price on a ship. The fishermen usually leave early, and all the supply freighters also try to leave first thing in the morning."
I lick one final finger and pop up. Very well.
I ate my food like a normal fucking human being, so I'm just gonna stand up and
Or a normal fucking tiefling, anyway.
yeah. I stabbed him with my tail. Anyway, I'm gonna
Okay.
grab just as a final little thank you gesture. I'm gonna grab the plates and the glass. I'm gonna bring them up by the bar so Quinn, the main man, doesn't have to worry about getting up and getting it.
Quinn says, "You're always welcome back here in the future. Be safe."
I'll be sure to drop by. You as well.
Y'all have a good day, Quinn.
He nods. What you see before you, some of those ships that are bigger they're supposed to be a little bigger than you perceive them to be. Like, the tokens are still small. But yeah, I mean, clearly one ship is bigger than the others. The others you perceive to be sort of fishing vessels or kind of like scouting vessels, things like that.
All right. Well, I recommend that we split up and ask what they charge to take 5 people, because it seems like Nim has cut out on us. Rather unfortunate. 5 people. Ask any ship that seems reasonably seaworthy and comfortable how much they would charge.
You're not concerned
I can
about
take-
finding your friend bill or anything?
About what?
Not concerned about finding your friend or anything like that? Yeah, I'm
Friend
not
is
saying
stretching it,
abandon
Well, do you have any idea where she went?
you. I
because
don't
I have
know
no
who
idea
you're
where she
talking
went.
about, but I'm just
We have to get going, and I am going to assume that she was headed that way too. Unless she's the source of the blood.
alright.
I mean, honestly, I think we have a much better chance of getting there alive. if we just go by ourselves, but that ugh,
Well, your
Morals.
friends, it's your call. I say, friends don't leave friends behind, but I don't control you.
well, she left us behind,
You too. I don't
if you
know.
might recall.
I don't recall that at all. Everything
I
from
told
2
you
days
about it
ago is
earlier.
hazy.
Yeah, she just took off into the night. Left without a trace, didn't leave a note,
Well,
didn't tell us what was going on.
that sounds like her fault.
I think we got ditched,
I'm
personally.
gonna walk up to these fine gentlemen. Is there anything giving away that this boat might be rentable or usable for travel?
They seem to be throwing some nets and some things onto the ship and moving some boxes onto the ship. As
Okay, so
opposed
they're
to
about to leave. I doubt one of these rowboats will work. Well, I'm gonna head out
make a perception roll on that ship.
on this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom! Fuck!
You see more than just 2 people on top deck. You see a few other people kind of going below deck. It's a medium-sized ship. It can hold at least 10 people. And it actually is starting to drift away from the docks. They pay you no mind as they do so.
Okay. Can I go all the way up here to around here, like right up to
Well,
this boat?
as you do that, it's
That'd be
going to
okay.
be Sandra's move.
Okay.
I would have been with him. I'm just looking for other boats.
Okay.
Like I'm nearby him.
All right.
Uh,
Which place would you like to investigate or check out?
what are these boats over here?
Those seem to just be docked and they're very small. They would only hold like 4 or 5 people, but it's not meant for like long journeys. They look like day fishing boats. Like they couldn't hold up in a storm.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just hanging out looking at smaller boats, so everybody's looking for because I'm not very good at haggling, so I'm not gonna
Make
do
a
haggling.
perception roll.
Okay.
Okay. So, one moment. On the boat that is pulling off of the docks, you see this man moving some of the sails.
Okay, he's currently leaving.
Yeah, he's one of the guys on the ship that just pulled off of the dock.
Okay.
Yep, and he is indeed smoking a pipe as he just mans one of the sails.
Have I seen him before?
No, you have not.
Okay.
Okay. Lucian's turn.
Lorian's turn.
Sorry, Lorian. Man.
It's my fault for having Lucian on our Discord. Lorian's. Yeah, so I glanced down this dock. It looks like there's 3 ships big enough to take us. So
Uh-huh.
I take a look at the first boat right here.
You see a woman.
Ah. Good morning, milady. Might you happen to be heading north, by any chance?
I am traveling north.
Excellent. Do you happen to have room for 5 people?
What 5 people? Which 5 people do you have?
Well, the 5 people that are with me. It's me, my guard, Sir Dorf over there, and then the human and the tiefling that are down on the other dock there.
The shirtless man staring at boats.
Don't forget you're shirtless.
I don't take tieflings on my ship.
Well, that's your loss. They have this thing that they do with their tail. Anyway, safe travels. Racist. I walk down the pier without another
Mhm.
glance back
Holy shit.
to the next boat. This one over here.
Okay.
I'd take a look at this boat.
All
Is there
right.
anybody there?
You see, there's no image for this one, but you see a man who's wrapped in bandages, and you also see some damage to his sails, and he is he's struggling to take his luggage off of the ship with one hand. His other hand is bandaged, and his head is bandaged.
My God, man, what happened to you?
Pirates, we just made it back. Barely made it out alive.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What direction did you come from, sir?
East. Southeast.
Ah. I gather you're going to be here a while recuperating. But
Yes, I'm just a simple fisherman. If I had anything worth more than fish, they would have done worse to me. That's the only reason why I'm alive right now.
I am so sorry this happened, but I'm so glad that you're safe, sir. Please take good care and be careful. There's disease in this town. Okay, I look over at this ship over here.
I'm going to firstly examine this boat right here. Is there anyone by chance on that boat? Any?
Yes, there is. So the two pictures here are where Lorraine is, and then this one is where you are. He emerges from below deck.
I'm going to put my hands elegantly behind my back. Ah, good day, sir. I'm going to take a... Ooh, that was a wrong accent. I'm going to take a bow. I'm looking for a ship, as of yet, to board with a total of 5 people. Is there any chance I could perhaps
He
persuade
interrupts you and says,
for-
"How much are you willing to pay?"
That is exactly what I was going to get at. I am not sure how much my colleagues are willing to pay, but I could pay you handsomely, or if you prefer entertainment, I could always play you songs.
I
whenever
don't
you'd like.
need entertainment, I need gold. We're going to the
Alright.
northern Dwaland Mountains. How much are you willing to pay?
I myself am willing to pay you 5. I can go talk to my gentleman friends down there. I'm gonna motion my hand. Well, we probably can't see past that ship, but to the docks past us, where Sandro, Lorian, and Fowl are in the north, where he is.
500?
Ooh, I'm afraid that we would not have that much. Or perhaps payment. Maybe I could do you a favor in return.
I will accept no less than 70 gold. And that's my
So-
ship over there, the large one.
Ah, the one that. And gold, just gold. You don't need anything done that I could do in favor for you.
70 gold, no questions asked.
Can I make my way over here if I see? Would I see everybody over here gathering, or?
You can see across the docks very easily. There's nothing obstructing your view.
Okay, I'm gonna start making my way over as this is happening.
I'd like to. I forget to mention my character's smiling at this moment, a kind smile. I'm gonna bow.
The man's steely, cold gaze does not waver at all, and he appears to be extremely offended by you saying 5 gold, and he is appalled, simply appalled at your offer.
Good job. Good job.
I hope you could forgive my earlier transgression. I am not from here. I'm not too sure on how currency works, but I will be sure to go ask my other colleagues to see how they feel about this. I'm going
Very
to
well.
bow to him and I bid you farewell for now.
You notice that he briskly walks behind you along the dock toward what he declared as his larger ship.
All right. The entire time, my hands do not leave my back, but they do tighten out of paranoia that he could possibly do something. But nonetheless, I don't trust a man with an eye patch. Nonetheless, I will make my way back over here. Is it possible I could spot these two from walking back to the dock?
Yeah, you can see pretty
Okay.
much these other two individuals. One of them is a gnome, one of them is a dwarf, and you can also see all of your party members from where you're standing.
Okay. Where is Sandro?
He's
Oh,
down.
okay. He blends in with the fucking ground.
Yeah,
I'm gonna walk over here,
it's quite a busy scene.
my dear friends.
But he does blend in pretty well, doesn't he? He's a cobblestone colored person.
I'm rugged.
Yeah, you're rugged cobblestone. It's a look. It's trending.
So,
So-
unless anybody's, can I make my way all the
So-
way over here?
Yeah. So I'm looking at the I saw a dwarf and a what was the other one, a gnome, a halfling, or what was that?
It appears to be a gnome. A gnome, a human who's following what's the name again? Artemis, and a dwarf who's on the ship with the gnome.
Good morrow, good folk. I say, looking at the what I assume are crew.
The
Might
gnome,
you happen to
I'm sorry, go ahead.
might you happen to be heading north?
The gnome steps forward and seems to be the one who does the talking on the ship.
Aye, we are heading north. And what concern is that to you?
I seek passage for myself and my 4 companions. We are heading towards the Belmar Mountains.
Why are you going to the Belmore Mountains? Why are you going there?
Ah, family business. An inheritance. Things to sort out. We've had a sad loss in our family, you see, that I have.
No matter. No matter. How much are you willing to pay?
Ah, how would 50 for the 5 of us sound?
Shit.
50.
The man with the eye patch you now notice is standing directly behind you, a little too close for comfort even. And he says in a gruff voice, "No less than 70. No questions asked."
I glance between the gnome and the eye patch man for a moment to see who seems to be in charge.
I am the captain. He is the quartermaster. His name is Fabian. I am Captain Rianth.
Very well, good sir. Is food included on the journey?
No.
And when do you go?
In less than an hour.
Very well. I hand him 70 gold.
Get on the ship.
Might I gather some provisions for my people, since you are not providing any?
You have 1 hour.
Very well. I gesture to the other two to go ahead and get on the ship. And thank you so much, sir, for taking us on. I bow my head at him.
He turns his back to you and walks on the ship.
I prefer nuts and berries if you have a choice, but I'll eat anything.
Well, I'm going to this food stall right over here because I don't really want to risk much of anything.
I'm gonna turn
Really
to
run.
Sanjo. What? Why are cities much more expensive than disconnected isles?
Because one man sets the price rather than a bunch of merchants working together, I'd assume. That's
Some
his
people,
boat.
I don't think I've ever
He
made that
charges
much.
whatever he wants to charge for. But I don't know how much things cost. I have almost no concept of money. So,
Well, nonetheless, back on a boat, just as we started.
yeah.
I'm going to get on the boat. This is the wheel of... No, wait, that'd be the wheel.
That's like a ballista or something. I don't even see
That's
the
the
wheel.
rudder. No, this is the wheel.
Oh,
This
look,
is the
that's the
rudder.
wheel.
Okay,
Is that a rudder? It's a ballista.
That's how you steer.
Can
It's how you help steer the boat, I think, right? There's a
Well, but then there are two rudders on either side also.
Oh, no, that's fine. All right, fine.
can I just, like, take a seat right here and lean next to this solid little wall next to the front of it?
Sure.
Alright.
Can I just kind of go sit out on the? I'm gonna sit out on this thing and just kind of like think.
Pushes off.
Alright,
Can I do that?
they're probably not. If you want to try, you know. So I'm. There's food stalls here. It looks like.
There are.
Yeah. I look for a food stall that's got food that'll probably keep for a few days. Like, you know,
Okay, what
hard
are you looking
cheeses
for?
and some bread, some nuts if somebody has them, some hardtack perhaps, some cheese.
All right. So 1 hunk of cheese is 1 silver piece. You talk to a man with, you know, kind of a sun-kissed man. He's got some garb on from a far-off land. He's got a stall with quite a few things. So he offers you a hunk of cheese for 1 silver, 1 chunk of meat. He doesn't specify what kind of meat it is, but it appears to be poultry. Is 3 silver pieces. If you're looking for bread, a loaf is 2 copper pieces. And then if you're looking for alcohol, we can discuss that as well.
I look to see if he's got anything that actually will last for quite a while, because I think about it for a moment. I realize we're also going to be traveling through the mountains after we get off of the ship.
That's when you
I
hunt
have-
wolves.
And I have no idea if there's going to be anybody selling food anywhere. So bread
Yeah.
will last for a week.
Well, you can also buy, like, it's similar to like trail mix and jerky. You can buy 1 day's rations for like 1 silver piece each, which is very pricey compared to what you're used to. But it's one silver piece per day per ration. So if you get like 10 silver pieces, that'll be basically 1 gold for 10 days rations for one person.
I have this thing from
Okay.
my Outlander background. If you guys want to check that out, I can find fresh food and water for up to 5 people each day.
And that's
People are
what
on-
kind of terrain is that for? Is that for like just the
It's
woods?
just-
or-
Anywhere that has like moderate, I'd say like anywhere that I could find food, I can find food.
Yeah,
It's
that's
anywhere.
mainly for like wilderness though, just so you know. And you are
Yeah.
planning to go into the wilderness, but the ship will not be wilderness, just so you know.
Yeah, no, I'm
Did
saying like,
you
like
mention
when
that?
we're off the boat. When we're off the boat.
Oh, so you mentioned that before you get on the boat that you can scavenge food for us when we're out.
I mean,
Oh.
you have an
Yeah.
hour, so this is assuming you've discussed all this within the hour.
So yeah. Not on the boat, but I'm saying like once we get off the boat, we won't need to like bring food. I can find.
That's
food.
correct. That's correct.
Okay, so I get enough rations for the 5 of us for for 4 days of sailing, just in case.
That's 40 silver.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, not 40 silver. That's 20 silver.
20 silver. All right. Okay, taking that out of my inventory.
Make sure to write in that's 20 rations.
20. Okay.
Yep.
All right. 20 rations.
Very good. Very good.
Just as the off side, could I perhaps just start playing my viol?
Yes, you can.
Alright. Fucking hit this.
You notice the dwarf staring at you with that face that's in the portrait.
What face? Let me find
What?
it.
Oh.
Oh no!
He's just standing there, staring at you. All the others prepare the ship.
There's
Well-
there's a little more time. That I just went to like the end of the dock, right? Is there anybody selling like clothing or anything on this little strip here?
Yes.
I ain't gonna stop. I was born to sing she shanties.
The guy wearing the green, I don't know if you see him, kind of like down from you, like south a couple of feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sells a lot of like oddities, but one thing that he sells is like different types of clothes.
All right. I'd like to see if he's got some warm cloaks.
He does. He sells them for five silver pieces each. And that's like a warm cloak. That's like a fur cloak. It's
Yeah.
like a pale off-white fur cloak.
Was the dwarf wearing clothing for cold weather already?
Yeah, he's super equipped.
He's all-
Like he's got rations
kitted
for
out.
himself. He's got rock climbing gear. He's got snowshoes, as I mentioned last time. He's got basically everything to take care of himself. But he did mention, I think, that you would have to chip in if he needed food or drink. But he appears to have everything he needs so far.
All right. Okay. I look. And does this guy have snowshoes too, by any chance?
He does not have snowshoes.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I come from the mountains, so I could probably make us some snowshoes or some shit. I could like probably take time, but I can make some like, rudimentary things probably.
True story, I tried making snowshoes in real life one time. That is way fucking harder than it looks. Anyways, you're saying.
I mean, like I've been living in the mountains for 10 years, so I.
So it's 5 silver per warm cloak.
Correct. But they're like
I have
very high
3.
quality. They're very high quality and very lightweight. So they're really good quality for 5 silver.
Okay. I also purchase. Let me make a note of that.
The man doesn't seem to speak common very well, but he motions with his hand toward a climber's kit. He has several.
A climber what?
Climber's
climber
kit.
what? Yes.
Keep in mind you can use them, but you may or may not be proficient in the usage of them. They are 25 gold apiece. They weigh 12 pounds.
25 gold. Oh, nah. No, I think that our mountaineer guide will hopefully be able to get us through that.
Okay.
Yeah, and plus I don't think I have 25 gold left for that. So I buy the four of the warm cloaks.
The man now motions toward flasks of oil and a mess
Flasks of
kit.
o-
Flasks of oil and a mess kit.
A mess kit.
Mm-hmm.
What is a mess kit?
A mess kit is what they use in the military or for camping. It has all of the things like metal cups, plates, forks, knives.
Huh. And I look at him and I look at the oil and I look at him and I tilt my head quizzically.
Now he motions towards pitons.
Pitons.
Pitons are used for rock climbing. They're like metal pins that you put in the rock and can hold your weight. And you wedge them between rocks.
I hold a finger up. I take the cloaks and I take them back to the ship.
Well, he motions towards soap now as you walk away.
I go back to the ship and find the dwarf with a while carrying the cloaks that I have purchased.
Yeah,
Very
that
good.
door's still fucking stink eyeing me, or we G?
No, the dwarf that we hired.
Okay,
Dwarf-
just making sure. There's one
Yeah,
door
there's-
staring
there's-
at me while I'm playing.
Yeah, there's the dwarf that you hired, and then there's this one that hasn't said a word yet.
Can I look
I
at him
talk-
as I'm playing?
Yes, you can.
All right, I just stare up at him. Or stare down? I don't know.
He stares directly back.
So, I walk up to the dwarf and I ask him, so what do we actually need with us on this trip, since you're guiding us? What do we need to get through the route that you're going to take us on?
Food and drink. That is all.
Very well. But I'm bringing warm cloaks, because everybody needs a warm cloak. You never know when you need to get cozy, huddle up together for warmth. You know, preserve it, produce it. I give him a cocky smile and hand out the cloaks.
He beats his bare chest and says, "Dwarves don't need cloak. We born in mountains."
So you produce your own heat, is what you're telling me.
He turns away from you and again gives the same look at Artemis as he plays.
Oh, do you like it or you hate it? Do you want to sing with me? Before that.
He just keeps staring and doesn't say anything.
Alright, so we've got rations.
Before you know it, the ship begins to move.
Still playing the viola.
He's still fucking staring at me.
Yeah, he is.
All right.
But he's a little bit more occupied now. He's actually helping with a few things around the ship. But every time he's not occupied, he just comes top deck, crosses his arms, and stares at you from across the deck. You in particular. He doesn't care about the other people. It's just you.
He either fucking loves me or hate me, and I don't know which one I want.
He ready.
Oh.
His body is ready as yours.
I'm always ready.
Everyone, make a perception.
Also, the water's just this dark as the picture, or is there a storm coming?
There's a storm coming.
Shit.
Honey, you got a big storm coming.
The first moment I hear a spring, like I see or feel water, I'm putting my VO in its case. I ain't fucking with that.
You feel a mist of water, and then it begins to downpour heavier.
Yeah, I put my VO up.
Well,
Oh,
I need Lorian to make a Arcana roll, please. Okay, you sense that there is a lot of magic somewhere on this ship. You can't tell where, but you sense a lot of magic. Yeah. You know that there's a lot of magic. There's also a few other people you didn't notice when you first boarded the ship. They seem to be simple deckhands. They pay you no mind, unlike the dwarf and the captain who've got your eyes on you. And even the gnome is sort of pacing back and forth as if he has a lot on his mind. And he seems to be monitoring the top deck of the ship very carefully. The gnome is.
I cautiously, wobbly, make my way to the gnome and
Okay.
and try to lean in quietly. Sir, you are aware there's something heavily magical happening right now.
He looks a little surprised at you and has a very stern look on his face.
We said that there would be no questions asked on this trip, didn't we?
Oh, darling, not a question. Just wanting to ensure our mutual survival.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. We will keep an eye
You're
on
most
it.
welcome.
I'm proficient
We
in
will
Arcana.
what?
Do you want me to roll?
Proficient in what?
I'm proficient in Arcana as well. Do you want me to roll anything, or is that?
Yes, actually, yeah.
Yeah!
No.
You actually don't really notice anything You're more so distracted by the storm, and you're concerned about your instrument.
Am I still being stared at by that fucking dwarf? I swear to God.
I mean, like I said, the
Easy
dwarf, sometimes he walks away and paces back and forth, but you notice that especially the gnome and the dwarf are keeping a very close eye on the top deck, whereas the captain is busy steering the ship and whatnot.
So you cut off, actually. The gnome cut off. He said, "We." After he said, "Thank you for
Well,
bringing it."
he said we will keep a close eye on that,
Ah, yes.
and he seemed to be
So
somewhat
I-
dismissive when he said it.
I bow my head very slightly and turn and walk back and try to find someplace kind of dry to huddle.
Very well.
And probably hold on because storm.
After a few minutes, you see Lucian. Sorry, not Lucian. You see Falminar
Lord.
walk up next to you and whisper into your ear. He says, "I saw that gnome reading something from a scroll. I'm not sure what he was doing, but it seemed like something that you'd be familiar with. Something magical. We gotta keep an eye on that one."
Nod my head, yes. Good call. That's... Hopefully he's wanting to save his own skin as well, and whatever he's doing will help us navigate the storm.
So, you all know that the journey takes about 2 days with strong winds. It takes 3 days with weaker winds. And the winds are indeed strong. The storm has no signs of clearing up. So, as unpleasant as the company is, there is a top deck cabin that you're all assigned to. And you have at least the day before, you have the rest of the day before nightfall to do anything that you'd like to do that takes time. Either studying something, practicing your instruments, studying maps, whatever it is you'd like to spend your time doing. But the storm is really making it oppressive to stay on the top deck without being in the cabin.
So
is there
I
anything
go
that
into...
you guys would like to do?
Yes, I would like to go into the cabin and ask my party mates to not disturb me for an hour.
Okay.
Given that we are no longer in town, and this is a no questions asked type of trip, I am going to cast Find Familiar.
Very good, and what kind of familiar would you like to summon?
Let me see.
While you research that, is there anything that you guys would like to do during the span of this day's journey?
I'm gonna stand up near the front of the boat and just try to like meditate in the storm.
Very good.
I'm sorry, go on.
I'm like stealing. I'm basically like steeling myself against the wind and the rain, just focusing on myself.
All right.
I would actually like to go to my own cabin. I'd like to take out my instrument again. Could I cast Unseen Servant to have him play an instrument and me conduct what he's playing? Like a conductor?
I'd have to research Unseen Servant. I think they can perform simple tasks. I don't know if they'd be able to perform something of expertise.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Chris, you know what's good about your spell? You can click. You can just click it and it'll show you.
Ah, okay. The invisible ship.
I mean, it could
can do
probably
simple tasks,
it
like
could probably play a simple tune, or like a simple melody, but nothing complex as far as I understand.
It could like hit a drum, but it couldn't like play a flute. It can do very basic
Only
things.
think I have my viol on me.
It could probably play like a few notes on a flute, but not like an actual like complex tune, so to speak.
Damn, yeah, I only have my viol. Alright, I'm just gonna play my viol.
All right.
I think I'm going to go with an owl currently.
I'm just gonna play my
Alright.
viol to myself.
When you get a chance to read the specifics of the spell, there are things that the owl can do and stuff, but you'll get to it, I'm sure. Okay.
It doesn't say what specifically. Well, I mean, there's specific things that they can do. Yeah, but yeah.
For example, you could see through its eyes or hear through its ears or something like that. You can also cast a touch spell through it at a certain range. You can unsummon it and summon it and put it in a pocket dimension, things like that. But you'll get a chance to read all that in time. In the meantime, the day goes by fairly uneventful. The storm continues to rage. The ship stays on course. And you observe that a lot of the deckhands are not really doing anything other than just doing their job. They seem to be experienced sailors. And you notice that the dwarf and gnome are particularly watchful over the top deck of the ship. And the captain kind of comes and goes. Whenever the ship needs to stay on course, he's below deck, and whenever the ship needs to change course, he comes back above deck again.
No,
That's the mark of an experienced sailor to go through this sort of storm.
I'm not gonna have my fucking door body slammed by that one door, man. While I'm playing my viola myself.
No, he just stares at you quite a bit. You in particular.
Stares through my wall.
No, not through your wall, but you know what I mean. So you actually go through the night as well. Do you all choose to sleep, or do any of you want to stay awake and do any tasks or anything with your time for the night as well now?
I'm gonna stay awake as long as I can, and then probably just like. Would I be able to sleep up here?
No, it's too. You're like getting
Okay.
drenched by the storm, which
So
is
after-
fine. But like, it's not. You can't sleep through that though.
Yeah. So after a good like, however like, how long would it be until like from like the storm until we go to sleep?
I mean, the storm is not stopping. It's
I mean the
continuing.
starts.
As soon as the sun gets low in the sky, you could sleep for a full 8 hours for a full rest. High elves can rest for, I think, what is it, like 3 hours or something, or an hour?
It's
Yeah,
4.
like 4 hours,
They
and
can
I'll
meditate
do
for
my like
4 hours.
4-hour
Sounds
meditation once I got my little owl buddy.
Yeah, because I was just checking to see how long I would have been up on top before I went downstairs.
Could I stay up for a little bit later and play? Because this would be a long rest, correct?
It would be a long rest, yes.
Could I play my viol before I go to sleep for, like, so that way I could sleep for less hours but feel like I slept for more, like I did the very first, or attempt to at least, like I did.
Well, your performance was exceptional. You can roll to perform, and you'd have to do this in the cabin, of course, because the rain would like damage your instrument.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring it up.
So, okay, so you just rolled that, right? 15? I mean, you don't get any like shortened rest or anything, but it is a very pleasant melody. It calms everybody. So you get a good 8 hours of rest, uninterrupted. The night is also uneventful. Actually, that's not true. I need you all to roll a perception in your sleep. I forgot to mention one or two things. Yeah, sorry. I was reading something. Yeah, so roll perception.
Should I just use my passive or should I roll?
Use your passive.
Okay, my passive is 15.
Actually, Lorian, make sure to roll the passive one, which I think is lower on your. It's like,
Passive isn't a roll, it's just like a number.
It's under skills, yeah.
It's
Oh, do
yeah.
you want everyone to do passive perception?
Yeah, we're gonna switch that to passive perception.
Okay.
I
then
thought that's
mine
what
would
we
be-
were. That's what I've been doing the whole time.
no,
I
no,
mean,
passive
passive-
is not a roll. Passive is
Passive
just
is
like
below your skills and below your charisma, namely. It'll be
Oh,
passive wisdom.
Oh, that's
in brackets.
13 then.
Yeah,
That's-
mine's
13.
12.
12
Mine's-
and 15. Okay, so here's the thing. So Lorian did an early 4-hour rest. So while Sandro and Archimus are asleep, even though your passive is pretty high, Lorian hears a hushed voice and some crying somewhere on the ship. It sounds like a woman's voice crying.
Oh dear. So this is before or after my rest?
After your rest, because you rested before everybody else, and you rested for a much shorter period of time than anyone else.
Okay, I ease my way out of the cabin. Take a casual look around with my dark vision.
All right, so do your perception skill roll. You notice the captain steering the ship, but he's got his eyes on the horizon. He seems to be really focused on what he's doing. The waves are choppy. He's not paying attention to movement on the deck, because the deck is also littered with other sailors kind of doing their job on the ropes. You notice that the dwarf has dozed off. I mean, the gnome has dozed off, and he's sitting on a chair near the captain on the top deck. And the dwarf is nowhere to be seen. You believe he's somewhere below deck.
Well, given that I wasn't told I couldn't go anywhere on the ship, I quietly and casually walk below deck.
Well, you notice that all of the hatches are barred off. They're actually locked, as far as you can see.
Ah, shit.
It's also harder to hear in the storm. You don't hear the crying anymore.
I look around to see if anybody's watching me.
The sailors, you know, they glance at you, but they don't seem to be as watchful as the gnome and the dwarf were. They seem to just be focused on doing their job. You kind of walk amongst them without them caring.
Okay. I try to find a sort of a darker, more out-of-the-way area below decks that has one of these hatches with the bars over it.
So if you take a look at the mast on the top, like further north, to the left of it, there's sort of like a somewhat covered entryway, but it seems to have a very crude lock. Yeah, right about there. Let me move it for you.
Okay.
The gnome is asleep up there. Let me get the captain on here 1 sec. So yeah, I just moved the dwarf off the ship for now, just to represent that he's not anywhere to be seen.
Okay.
And yeah, the gnome is asleep, and you're kind of now under a bit of a small roof in a doorway. So now, like, you're totally out of view of the captain and the dwarf. And there's a wooden door there, and there's a crude lock. It's a bit simple.
Is there any way to see in, like a crack in the wall or
Investigation.
key? Okay. Lorian.
Very, very good. And you also have
Tell
dark
us
vision on
the-
top of that.
Mm-hmm.
You see shadows from candlelight against the wall downstairs, and in the candlelight shadows you see several silhouettes of people sort of rocking back and forth in the storm. They don't appear to be doing anything though. You just see their silhouettes sort of kind of like hunched over in the candlelight. And you see this through very, very, very thin crevices between the door wooden boards.
And the sound of the storm is fairly loud, so sound isn't going to travel super far above decks, right?
Roll an Arcana. Yeah, the sound is harder to hear. Oh my goodness.
Fuck
Ooh.
yeah!
Okay.
Finally, the good roll.
So you perceive that. Actually, I need to look something up 1 moment. You perceive that the spell that you experienced earlier, or the magic that you experienced earlier, was from the School of Illusion, and right now you no longer feel it. Whatever illusion was enchanting the area on the ship that you experienced is no longer there.
Okay, so there, I had an illusion somewhere on the ship, like an area that's different from where I'm standing now.
You felt it everywhere you walked on the ship, and
Okay.
now you don't feel it at all.
Okay, I look around to see if anything has changed my perception of what's going on.
The only thing that you notice with your 24 investigation is just you hear more kind of like hushed voices, and you're not sure if you hear crying or not anymore. It's hard to hear over the rushing waves and wind. It's very hard to hear from the top deck.
Lorian is hella suspicious that some sketchy ass shit's going down here, which is unfortunate when one is in the middle of a storm, in the middle of the ocean, ship. So this simple lock, like, actually, This lock is very, very simple. Like the sort of thing that
it's a basic lock. It's not like you don't perceive there to be any magic on it. It's not made from masterwork, craftsmanship, or anything. It just seems to be like a very basic lock. It's sort of an old-fashioned lock.
Let's see. Hold on, let me. No, that's not going to work, I don't think.
Also, I forgot to mention, this is really late, but Archimus, you actually get an inspiration point for using your instrument against the crystals earlier. So you can add that one inspiration point.
Oh.
Okay.
Lorian, you also still have an inspiration point from last round. I just wanted to remind you of that.
Yes. So I forget what
Microphone.
inspiration points
Yeah.
do.
So when you choose to use your one and only inspiration point, it turns a roll into an advantage, which means instead of rolling one time, you get to roll twice and take the higher of two rolls.
Ah, nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Oh, so it's
Angela.
like an advantage.
Basically,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
People gain
I'm
inspiration points when they either roleplay their character in a particularly memorable or appropriate way, or if they do something really creative like thinking outside the box that really helps the party. DMs can kind of award it how they choose to, but it's good to like do that when a player really does something exceptional or like really trademarked.
So do any of the huddled over people behind the lock downstairs look awake?
Yes, they seem to, you know, be moving their heads and stuff, but they just don't seem to be like moving around a lot. Like they seem to be pretty stationary.
I'm gonna go use the restroom just real quick, pardon me.
You got it, man.
Sure. Shall we wait? We can wait.
Well, his character's
No,
asleep,
that's okay.
so
I'm asleep,
His
so-
his
That's
character's
true.
asleep.
Fill me in.
Okay, so I look at the people. I look to see if there's somebody that looks particularly aware, and within 120 feet. I'm guessing
Aware
these people
and
are.
within 120 feet.
Mhm.
All of the sailors seem to be. I mean, you can roll an insight. Insight would be for the sailors around you on the top deck.
Well, I meant the people inside.
Oh, the people
The-
inside. I mean, you can tell very little. Like you just see like kind of like silhouettes. Like you just have like a really high investigation. Like so, just even to discern that was like really pushing the limits of what you could like see with your dark vision and the poor lighting and the rocking ship and everything and the very, 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 very fine cracks between the boards.
All right, one moment. Okay. Well, goodness, I have quite a few things that I can do here. Now that I look at it, I am going to cast another spell. That spell being Message.
I'm sorry, what was the first one you cast again? Remind me?
First one I cast was Find Familiar.
Oh, that's right. Okay, got you. And now you're casting,
Yes.
what was it?
Message.
Okay. And who are
I
you?
pick out one of the hunched over figures in there, the one that seems clearest to me, since I can see them through that little crack.
Even if you don't see them, you can still cast the spell. I mean, you're not looking at them, you're looking at their shadow, but that's fine. Message isn't when you see someone, it can be, I'm pretty sure it can be if you perceive their location to be in a certain location as well.
You just have to point in the direction, and if you're aware that they're there, and you are able to like know the direction, you can get the message out there.
Correct. And there's certain materials it cannot penetrate, but floorboards of a ship should be fine.
All right. I cast message at one of the hunched over figures. And
Yes, what do you say?
You there, are you in danger? Do you need to get out? Are you here against your will?
I am back.
You hear a female voice in your head say, "Yes, please save us. We're captives."
Yeah, that's accurate. Alright, so I was gone, now people are captive. Fuck yeah, here we go.
So,
Thank you, Sandra, for the information.
Actually, yeah, that was wrong. Fucking.
Can is it just one message back and forth?
Yeah, but you can keep casting it if it's a cantrip, I believe, so you can cast it as many times as you want.
Yeah. Okay. I will ask, tell me as quick as you can with as much detail what happened, what's going on, how many of you there are, and can you fight?
There's 12 of us. We're all weak. Some of us are asleep. Too tired to stay awake. We think that they're going to use us for human sacrifices. Please do whatever you can.
Okay. I cast it again. Remain calm. Get what rest you can. Scream as loud as you can if they start to take you for this. But it might take a little while we figure out what to do. But I will do my best.
You're
not
alone.
alone.
You hear a reply in your head that says, "We are bound by chains onto wood."
Understood. Thank you.
And even her voice just sounds exhausted. She doesn't even have enough energy to sound fearful at this point.
Okay, so now I very quietly and casually walk around, sort of look out to sea like I don't have any troubles in my mind, just looking at the storm, and then stroll back into the cabin.
You notice the dwarf comes up from a side cabin, a different from the stern of the ship, and he comes out and looks at you with that look.
God, you need to fucking face yourself.
I look at him and smile and say, "Are you missing the music, love?"
He doesn't respond. He just continues to stare.
I give him a little half-hand wave and saunter on back to the cabin casually.
He stands still and watches your every step.
Okay, so I'm back in the cabin with everybody else. Yeah?
Correct. You perceive it to be something like 3 or 4 a.m.
Okay.
And they all got 8 hours at least.
Alright, I gently, while shushing, wake everybody up.
Okay, they wait.
So, everyone keep your voices way down. I have some okay news and some shitty news. Which would you like first?
Wake me up properly, give me the shitty news.
Are we in the same room or are we in different rooms?
I think we're all in one cabin.
DM.
Steve.
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, it's hard to hear. I have the sounds on. You're all in the same cabin. It's a top deck cabin. It's very simple. and it has basically the accommodation you need to just basically just like sleep and stay dry. That's it.
Okay, so shitty news. Well, okay, it's all just kind of the same news. So, I think I've figured out a bit about the hell? Okay. Sorry, Steam was updating. I think I figured it out a bit about the cultists. In that I think we're on their ship. And there's 12 people chained up below decks that are said to be human sacrifices. And we're in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of a storm, on the ship with these people. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I wouldn't be too okay, you know, with just walking away from this one, knowing that 12 innocent people that are chained up below decks are gonna die a horrible death, probably to fuel something even more horrible that'll probably kill even more people. How
I
y'all?
have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Are the cultists and the thieves the same people you're trying to deal with, or are they different?
You know, I don't really know. I wonder what the constabulary have been doing around here. I mean, obviously they're not doing their fucking jobs, but I can't even tell. I would think that they're probably different.
So,
Just because okay, so these thief people, they're going to jack my shit, basically. These culty people are crushing temples and sacrificing people, and maybe they have something to do with the disease too. I don't know. It's just a whole, you know, satchel of shit going on around here.
how
but
many people?
Mike-
If not counting hostages or slaves, whatever you want to call them.
Well, the victims, I would say, innocent ass people that are going to be killed horribly, have their souls consumed to fuel some nightmare like that horrifying pink crystal thing. Tacky, by the way. So
But how many crew members are on this ship? Do you have
DM?
a number?
You can roll intelligence to estimate and remember. And you may not have ever seen all of them at any one time.
Can I do that too, or is she doing it? Or
I mean, we're all thinking about it, right? So,
Lorian rolls in intelligence. Okay, so
oh, for fuck's sake.
you perceive there to be approximately, you saw maybe like 5 or 6 on the top deck. Most of them seem to be either human or half orc. But you didn't get a good chance to really see all of their faces or their genders or like anything really. They all seemed really mundane and like kept themselves and like never even like looked you in the eyes half the time.
so I say, all right, we need to wait till we get closer to shore, to our final destination. We need to keep track of these slaves, and once the ship docks, that's when we free them. Because there's no, I can't pilot a ship. I doubt you can.
Once the ship stops, we're gonna be on dock with possibly more people. How do you think a tiefling would look attacking a group of people with other people?
We're not gonna attack them. We're gonna release them.
Do you really think that's gonna go?
All I'm saying is, all right, it's a better shot than them getting drug off somewhere and stabbed. If you were in a port and you saw 12 people bound in chains and beaten run off a ship, would you not think maybe there's something wrong here?
These winds are strong. With regular winds, we should have gotten there in 2 days. It's already been a day, and we're almost through the morning. We may be closer to land than you think. And there won't be docks with people. We're going to untamed wilderness.
So what I'm saying is, make fighting our last option, but we need to get these people off of here.
Tomorrow night, we could all go down and see what's going on.
With these winds, we're going to make it to land before tomorrow night.
I concur. I think, honestly, our best chance is an ambush as soon as the ship anchors, because These are 12 very exhausted, very weak people chained together. They're even if we sank the ship and all survived, they wouldn't. They would sink to the bottom. So we'd need to be able to get them to land.
Can I see through the eyes of Unservant, or is Unservant, can it tell me if I was the, for example...
Unseen servant can't speak. He can just do things you command it to do.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, and it can't go more than 60 feet away from you.
Okay.
You hear a knock at your door.
Howdy. Come on in.
We were talking quietly, I assume.
Yeah, you mentioned to, so I assumed it kind of worked.
Yep.
I was sent to check up on you all. You see a half-orc woman step through the door.
Well, yeah, how are you? Yeah.
Can I look her up and down to see if she has any abnormalities about her outfit or person?
Yes, roll a perception. She appears to be approximately a 20-year-old female half-orc. She's very strong. She's cropped, straight auburn hair and green eyes, with streaks of color in it. She has a rugged, sunburned olive skin. She stands about 6'5" and has a massive build, and she has an oval face. She has a piercing on her left ear, and a small piercing on her left ear, and an unfinished piercing on her left eyebrow. That's all you can ascertain with that roll. Oh, you also see that she's got a mouse perched on her shoulder. It appears to be tamed.
Oh shit.
Just fine. Thank you.
Yeah, howdy there, man.
As I said, I was sent to check up on you all. Are you okay?
What?
Well, it's a little cold, a little wet, a little stormy, but so far nobody's needed a bucket, so that's good. How are you doing, darling?
Just fine. Well, if no one's seasick, then I'll be tending to the ropes.
Would
She
you
turns.
would you be able to give me a tour of the ship, or some like parts that you could show me?
Maybe if the storm lets up. In the meantime, make sure to get your rest.
All right, I'll be here.
She turns away and back into the night and closes the cabin door.
I'm gonna look at Lauren and say, people here that don't care, you're really bad at this, honey.
I wouldn't take that one.
I really don't understand. Usually it's the other way around, you know. Just throw themselves at me all the time. Starting would if I've been cursed.
I'm sorry.
You don't believe that.
Well,
Is that what
yeah, that's what I said.
Ouch. Well, that's the last time we sniff.
That's the last time we sniffed.
Roll a charisma on that.
Me?
You roll charisma, yeah. Alright, so it tickles his fancy a little bit. But he can control his chuckle.
I'm just gonna wink at her. Him. It hurts. The voice is fucking me. Yeah! We're both bad at it.
I like how you're both trying to be charming, and I'm just over here like, hey, what's up?
I flutter my eyelashes, and then a moment passes, and I say, "But really, slaves. I mean, look, there's a chance that the people below decks are lying, but they are locked in. And that kind of tells me a lot. You know what I mean? Like people aren't normally hidden and locked away and chained together if they're the predators. Not something like this. And we did just have action happen in the village. Goodness knows how many have died already. So, we need a plan. We need a plan beyond, oh, let's just fuck up
How
the...
about we need? Why don't you show us where this was located, so we have an idea, so we're not us three are walking.
Alright, I pull out a piece of paper.
Oh,
Do you
also-
have paper?
Yes.
Do you have
I do
paper?
have paper. I
Okay.
have paper, I have ink, I have quills, I have all of that because I have a
Very well.
scholar's satchel
Very
thing.
well. Very well.
I
Would
pull
we
out
be
a
able to
piece
give
of
our
paper.
spare food to these people?
It would probably help. They seem pretty weak. Good thing
Because
I bought
we're
extras.
getting there early.
Yeah. And I say it would be phenomenally stupid for us to go gather around the locked door that has human sacrifices chained up in it. I think that might
if-
just raise suspicions a bit.
No.
So,
You could just
I
say
draw-
we're playing a concert.
no. So, I draw a diagram of the boat. I show where all of the, chained hatches are and where the door is with a simple lock. Does anybody here know how to pick a lock? And I pick up the thieves' tools that I grabbed and wave them in the air. Good. So,
I can't
Once-
pick a lock, but I am rather light on my feet.
good. Well, I am a lover, not so much a fighter. But I can disguise myself. I can make myself look like someone else for a little while. Which could possibly help.
Do I have that? I don't think I picked that up. Never mind. That's
I have disguise self.
well, they got to sleep at some point. So, if we are going to sneak around,
Did anybody here happen to get a good count of how many people there are? I seem to feel like there's like, I don't know, 5?
can I roll intelligence for that? Or
Yeah, you can. You can roll.
I'll take 5.
So
one-
you
that-
remember there's the human captain. You remember the dwarven man who's always staring you down. You remember the gnome who you actually don't know is asleep right now, but Lorien does. You just met the half-orc woman. You're not sure what her position is on the boat. And then you noticed 3 other deckhands at least that you're aware of. That sort of keep to themselves. There may be more.
So like
8 minimum. I'm gonna lean my head back, thinking. It takes me a little bit longer since I just woke up. At the very minimum, I've seen 8.
Also, with that intelligence roll, you have more information. You also know... One moment. You also know that this type of ship is called a flute ship. You know that it's designed to have as little crew members as possible to keep it going, but it also is often used as like a either a smuggling ship or a storage ship or a freighter that can carry lots of heavy weight below deck. So, you know, it doesn't require many people to keep it going, but you did see that many people top deck. So you're not
like
so you're kind of estimating. You're estimating how many people are on it.
A ship like this, they're more. You can run this with less people. So the odds of people being down around the bottom of the ship that aren't these slaves that you're mentioning is small. A lot of ships came by in the isles I lived in, so I got a good idea of them. Smuggling people, that sounds like that'd be the only thing down there. So I imagine 8, the minimum, and 8 might just be as many as there are up top. because they're not down here. Unless they're sleeping.
How long is the boat, by the way?
Let's see.
Would I know how long the boat is?
Each square is about 5 feet, give or take. So we got
That's a
5,
massive
10,
boat.
15,
Holy
20,
shit.
25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 56. So it's like 100 feet long about.
Oy, okay.
Did you ask how long it was in character?
No, that's
Okay.
just a general.
Our best bet would be either searching. You snuck out. Did you go out on the deck?
I did.
And how many people did you see up there at this moment?
Well, there were some deckhands just working, paying attention to themselves. The captain was steering the ship. The gnome was asleep, although I'm sure he'll wake up eventually. The dwarf, he had been below decks, but he came out not long after I walked away from the locked cabin. Say, maybe 2, 3. I'm not sure exactly how many sailors. They didn't pay me any mind, and I didn't pay them any mind.
Two deckhands could possibly be switching ships, so there might be more than 8. Captain needs some time. He's got to. Everyone does.
Valamar takes out his blade and makes sure it's sharp. Takes a close look at it in the candlelight and sheathes it again as you guys talk.
The best bet we have.
Go ahead.
The best bet we have now is relaxing until day and figuring out what to do tomorrow. Because there's not much we can do at this moment. Especially, as you said, rounding all in front of a locked cabin with V2 systems.
Is, and I am able to speak one-on-one, mind-to-mind, without anyone knowing. So if you need to tell me something without saying it out loud, just look and give me a little nod.
Deal then?
I turn to our guide, our mountaineering guide. Sir Dwarf, this is your life too. What say you?
You see the candlelight glimmer in his eye, and you see a sadness wash over him. He removes his furs and shows whiplashes across his back, scars that have been there for at least 2 decades. Without saying a word, you understand what he's trying to show you. He was enslaved at one point in his life. He takes a silver ring off, and he hands it to you, Lorien. He says, "This is a ring of message. It belongs to my brother. He is in Ivestad, still enslaved. If we make it out of this alive, there's a better chance that all of you will survive, because you stand strong together. Promise me that if you ever make your way to Ivestad, you find my brother, you free him, and you give him this ring of message. It's the last thing I have to remember him by."
I take the ring, I look him in the eye and squeeze his shoulder, and bow my head. I will do my best.
I'm gonna stand up and go for like the whole the manly wrist grab handshake.
I'm just gonna sit in bed.
You see his sorrow turn into anger in his eyes, and you see him struggling to maintain his composure, because he knows that what's going on is unjust on the ship, yet he is powerless. It's difficult for him to sit there and not do something about it.
Are you a fighter?
Aye.
Good. Then we'll all stand together. We're in agreement.
Aye.
Aye.
I'm with y'all.
I'm with y'all.